Receivers.
The Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. They have 2 of the next 4 picks. Here's Todd Pache's best available. Will they go in that direction?
Feed a healthy lifestyle with pure protein.
High protein.
We hope that if you can help, you will visit NFL.com/relief to help those who are in need during this coronavirus pandemic, part of the NFL Draft-a-thon. On Saturday, you can always watch it on ESPN Deportes, ESPN app, or listen to it on ESPN radio from anywhere. Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. Vikings have the 22nd overall pick and the 25th pick, assuming that they don't make deals. They have lost Ksfy Kdlt, or have moved him on to Buffalo. As you see Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman, the general manager of Minnesota, to see what direction the Vikings might
They got
go.
a lot of holes, Reese. They've had mass defections in the secondary on defense, so maybe corner there on defense as well. They lose Everson Griffin at defensive end, a longtime great Minnesota Viking. And then you just mentioned Stefon Diggs going to Buffalo. That leaves Adam Thielen. So Kirk Cousins needs another weapon as well. We keep seeing now, we're seeing more receivers now dropping off the board. As Kirk just mentioned a moment ago, there's still a lot of really big names out there. Wouldn't shock me to see the Vikings go receiver with either 22 or 25.
Last year in the first round of the NFL draft, only 2 wide receivers were taken in the first round. It took a while to get the wide receivers started, the first going 12th overall, but now they're chanting Skulls, all the commissioners involved, Minnesota's picks in.
Let's go. Come on, let's go, Viking fans. With the 22nd pick in the 2020 draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU.
Justin Jefferson is the 3rd Bayou Bengal taken tonight. Second in the last 3 picks, and finally he goes. Boy, he comes from a great football family, LSU family, and he was a no-star recruit, Kurt, coming out of high school, who developed into a star receiver and first-round pick.
Much like his quarterback, who went #1 overall, Joe Burrow, this dude plays with a chip on his shoulder. Reminds me of a kid that grew up playing a lot of backyard football with those brothers, being the youngest one trying to prove himself. Natural ball skills, everything you want to see but from a guy. And what I love is they get the ball to him early to kind of set the tone because of the energy that he can provide and the personality that he has. He's dominant in the slot because of that length, David, and the quickness to be able to separate. But like I said, you get the ball downfield, body control, ability to adjust to the ball. This is an outstanding pick here.
This is the college football semifinal. He had a really rough first half. Struggled catching the ball in the air. Only had 4 touchdowns in the first half. But that's the kind of personality you see from him. But he's a big, strong kid. Another thing, too, Kirk, makes contested catches like it's going out of style. He gets thrown a lot of balls that are basically like jump balls. They throw him, he's covered, he's still open. His quarterback believes in him. That's a great quality to have. Obviously, the Vikings love on Diggs. They traded him to the Bills. Now they got a guy that can replace him. That's another guy that can make plays.
And David, what I love about Justin Jefferson is that he is an alpha who wants the ball in the biggest games. You go back to 3 touchdown catches against Texas early, 10 catches against the Florida Gators in that big win. You just talked about his performance in the semifinal. And remember, he does a lot of his damage from the slot. So in the National Football League, when you're in the slot, oftentimes you're going up against the 3rd best cornerback on defense. And with his speed, he ran a 4.43 at the combine. I love his ability to make plays deep down the field, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to like that playmaking ability as well.
And so Justin Jefferson, very familiar with that purple, Maria, and he'll be wearing it in Minnesota.
Yeah, he looked good in purple for LSU, Reese. 111 receptions, led the nation. He had 18 touchdowns, and we came to love some of those touchdown celebrations. There was plenty to celebrate if you're an LSU fan. National championship, undefeated season, and this guy, Justin Jefferson, was entertaining the Tigers the whole way.
Dancing, it goes way back, just from when I was younger and just being able to express myself through dancing.
Touchdown. Give that one to Justin Jefferson.
The gritty is definitely one of my favorite dance moves, especially in an end zone. That different style of dance, nobody's seen that before, so having that different personality in there.
Hey.
During the season, we just had a fun time being able to put up so many points on the board. We have a lot of dancers on the team, so just being able to express ourselves.
I'm about to go to the White House.
Where's Justin? He's going to be so rich.
I'm definitely going all out with my dance moves in the NFL and just being able to extend those dance moves more than I did in college.
Well, now Justin will be dancing his way into the hearts of all the Vikings fans. Justin, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, have you decided what your new touchdown dance will be in the NFL, because you have some freedom now?
I haven't fully decided yet. You know, I'm still going to have the gritty in my backpack. So I'm definitely going to search for more dance moves to do in the end zone.
You know, it's interesting, Justin, because as Reese said earlier, you were a 0-star turned into a first-rounder. How would you describe your journey to this moment?
It's a blessing. You only can thank God for putting me in this situation. And I'm really blessed to be in this situation, just being drafted in the first round to Minnesota. It's a dream come true. I've been dreaming about it since I was a little kid. So finally being in this situation and going through this type of process, it's amazing, and it's a grace from God.
Well, congratulations, Justin. Enjoy this one. Dance the night away. Reese, we go back to you.
Thank you.
Maria, Justin, thank you very much. Justin's got some NFL experience. He finished third in punt, pass, and kick when he was 9 years old. And I have a chance to do some touchdown scoring. On the clock right now, the Los Angeles Chargers. New England had that pick, but there was a trade, and now the Chargers are going to make this selection. Los Angeles Chargers got their quarterback.
As jobs get cut, we are there. As plates go empty, we are there. As beds disappear, we are there. Thanks to your generosity, we are there with hope, kindness, and without discrimination. Today and always. Please consider giving what you can to help our most vulnerable.
So many people working so hard at this time. We hope that the coverage of the draft tonight has given you some relief. If you are able to help those, visit NFL.com/relief and consider donating if you are able to do so for hours a day. And that family photo you just showed you, Festus says that means business. Now, he had the serious game training face on with Noah even after celebrating there. The Minnesota Vikings made a pick earlier tonight. They took Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver from LSU. He's probably had a few battles during his career with Noah Igbenogany, and now Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer, both in nice den settings, have made the pick, the penultimate pick of the first round. Let's see what the Vikings have decided to do.
Get that horn up. With the 31st pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Jeff Gladney, defensive back, TCU.
Speed and athleticism at the quarterback and defensive back position, that has been at a premium. And Jeff Gladney is a guy who can really run and really played well. And Gary Patterson, the TCU's coach of defense down in Fort Worth, David.
Don't get it twisted. It says 5'10", 190. This dude is tough. He's feisty. He will get up in your kitchen, man. You talk about a corner that plays inside, plays outside, but just competes at a high level. I don't care how big he is. I just love how big his heart is. He'll give you everything he's got. He played with Gary Patterson in one of the most complicated defenses in the country. They can do so much. He's just a stud. I just love the way this kid competes.
And David, I love the fact that he's physical, and this guy loves to tackle. He gets his face in the fan on run plays, but you watch all these highlights, if he's not breaking up the pass, he tackles the catch. You don't see a lot of receivers get a lot of yards after they catch the ball with Gladney in coverage. A great job in the back end. Really good speed, good hips. 27 passes broken up over the last 2 years. That was the most in college football. So for a Minnesota Vikings defense that loses Trey Waynes and Xavier Rhodes and Mackenzie Alexander, you now bring in a piece like Jeff Gladney out of TCU to help you out in the back end in the secondary.
So one more pick. The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock with a 32nd pick of the first round as we await the final pick of this draft, as we take a look at our all-state best of the drafts and the best moments from the highlights of day one of the 2020 NFL Draft. Kirk.
Well, it started as we all expected to see Joe Burrow go for the first pick overall. He stays in the state of Ohio where
round. Here's Roger Goodell.
That brings us to the conclusion of round one of the 2020 NFL Draft. Before we close, I want to take a moment to express my gratitude for joining us this evening. Thus far, the NFL family has raised more than $85 million, including millions still being raised for COVID-19 relief efforts during the draft-a-thon. And we've only just begun. So keep the donations coming, and you can keep the booze coming too. Please be sure to join us back here on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the NFL Network tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for being with us.
The commissioner closing the first round, second and third rounds coming up on Friday night. And just as they were to start this draft, the Bengals will be on the clock first. A night for Joe Burrow, the Heisman Trophy winner, national champion, #1 overall pick in the draft, going to Cincinnati. For everybody here at ABC, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow night for rounds 2 and 3. This is an iconic night on the American sports calendar.
The first ever virtual NFL draft. The Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, the second pick. Chase Young. The Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
Getting that call, it was just a joyful experience.
Go! Go! It's amazing, man. I've worked my whole life for this. Come on. Get easy. Come on. Come on. You got it.
Dakota News Now.
Contract will be a certainty. Well, tonight was round one of the NFL draft, and the Vikings had a couple of picks. Now, Cincinnati went first, and they took Joe Burrow, the quarterback, the guy who actually wanted to play at Nebraska, but Scott Frost didn't want him. Arguably the best year of any college quarterback ever last year. Vikings then took a guy he threw to, Justin Jefferson. He caught 111 passes last year. 4 touchdowns in the first half of the national championship game, and then they traded the 25th pick to the Niners, still picked up a really good, solid cornerback at number 31 in Jeff Gladney of TCU. He's not big, but he is sure strong and should be a real plus for their defensive backfield. And let's quick go to the draft picks, 1 through 5. Joe Burrow, Chase Young. Those pretty much went as expected, although that's incorrect. Tua went number 5. Justin Jefferson, Jeff Gladney, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the running back from LSU, rounded out. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs. And by the way, the Twins won their 8th straight today as they are now 16-10 and tied for first. Phil is back with a final look at the weather right after this.
Former Augustana Vikings center Jake Lucina will look to follow in his dad's footsteps by signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, his father Corbin also played for Augie and went on to an 11-year NFL career as an offensive lineman from 1993 through 2003, playing 4 seasons with the Vikings. Jake capped an All-American career last season by winning the Remington Award as the top center in Division II. As for the rest of the Vikings draft, they made 11 of their modern-day record 15 draft picks today. All defense early on with DJ Wanham, James Lynch, Troy Dye, and Harrison Hand. They also began to pick up some offense in the 5th round with KJ Osborne and Blake Brandel before going back to defense with Josh Metellus and Kenny Wilkes. They did take former Iowa Hawkeye quarterback Nate Stanley in the 7th round before rounding things out with Brian Cole and the 2nd and Division II offensive lineman Kyle Hinton. Over the last couple of years,